What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are back with another episode of Lions Latest, going to the latest Detroit Lions news. And today, we have a short little video because we have some speculation. People are speculating out there if Ceedy Duce could potentially return this season. So let's get it started. Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here. And yes, we are back with another episode of Lions Latest. And this video is going to be our shortest video in a while. Outside of the shorts, this is going to be our shortest video in a while. But I at least wanted to make something quick on this because while I can't say this is like official news, he's returning at this time. We know this for sure. There's been some speculation out there because there's been some little things dropped as like, oh, hold up. This could mean that he actually might return this season. And there's been a lot of this speculation out there for a while now, whether that was Ceedy Duce on an Instagram live, divisional round potentially. It sounded like the divisional round. Some people said maybe that was the divisional race potentially. I thought maybe he was talking about the divisional round of the playoffs if the Lions got there. Then Dan Campbell was asked about the return potentially. He kind of made it sound like I would love to talk to that doctor basically, but he was like, you know what? I won't count out the potential of him returning. So he didn't like say that it's not going to happen, but he also didn't sound like he thought like for sure, oh yeah, he's absolutely going to return at some point this season. But they've never really counted out the possibility of Ceedy Duce returning potentially this season. And now we have this little thing that was popped up this morning. It was on Ceedy Duce Instagram, and that was this, with the Lions logo, a December 20th. Now, people are speculating, is this where he's aiming to return? What I would think here is most likely if there was going to be some sort of return on this day, that maybe he's aiming for this to be the day that he can start his 21-day window to return with the Detroit Lions. Why? Well, because if he returned on December 20th and he returned to that 3-week window to potentially try to return to the Lions, that would mean that we would have 3 weeks left in the season. That'd be the Vikings game, our first Vikings matchup. He'd be returning right between the Denver Broncos game.
I want to hop in here for a quick little update video. Now you're probably like, dude, why are you in the car again? Well, one, it's kind of fun to do some of these car videos just randomly just to put these in here, but we did get some news today a little bit after the Ceedy Duce stuff kind of popped up, and I think this is the perfect video. It also fits in perfectly because we're talking about Denver, so let's just throw this in there. It was announced today that the Detroit Lions would be playing primetime Saturday night football against the Denver Broncos at home. This should have been primetime coming into the year, but you could see they left it as to be determined, like this was a real possibility, and this is great. It's Dan Campbell, it's Sean Payton, it's in the midst of kind of that playoff stretch, which means we'll play Denver, primetime at home, then we'll play Minnesota, then on the road to Dallas on primetime, and then we play Minnesota again. I mean, that is a beautiful 4-game finish this season. It's going to be difficult because Denver's arguably the hottest team in football right now, so leaving that is to be determined. What they've done recently, they've shot themselves into playoff contention. We are kind of right there right now, so this is awesome. This is going to be a crazy awesome matchup. I'm glad this thing got flexed to primetime. This game deserved that. I remember before the season, we talked about like what games could be primetime. This is one in particular that I thought would make sense, and I'm glad that it's happened because Dan Campbell, Sean Payton, I mean, the storylines, the hype around Denver, the hype around us this year, this is beautiful. Now, unfortunately, I probably won't be able to live stream that game because I'll be in Indy that day because Indy's game was moved to 4:30, so I'll be in Indy. I should be able to watch it, which is the positive because there's a little gap there, but I probably won't be able to do a live stream watch party for that game, which definitely stinks. We'll see. I'm not going to count that out. It's always a possibility, but it may not happen. But regardless, it's primetime football, and we'll be here to talk about it. So I'm fired up. Just want to throw that in here. Let's get back to the original video. How y'all doing? We in the car.
And the Minnesota Vikings game, which could give him essentially 3 weeks to try to ramp up and potentially be ready for the playoffs if that was that 21-day window that he was able to return within for the Detroit Lions. They would have the time at the end of the regular season to decide whether or not they thought he was ready to be activated from injury reserve. What is really the best time of year? The Detroit Lions are in the midst of a playoff push. Christmas is right around the corner, and maybe recently you've sat back and said to yourself, I think I might want to get some tickets to that next sporting event or that concert that's taking place near me. But you've ran into an issue that all of us deal with when buying tickets. One, we don't know what the view looks like from our seat, or maybe you find a really good deal on tickets and then once you go to check out, you see all these fees pop up and then you're not so interested, or maybe you just haven't found a good deal that entices you to actually buy those tickets. You're going to have to worry when you are buying tickets to your next big event. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, theater, comedy, events near you. What I love about the GameTime app is not only do I immediately get to see the lowest price, as well as all-in pricing, so I don't have to deal with crazy fees that pop up once I think I'm getting a good deal, but I also love the list/map view. I can see the view for my seats, but I also can easily compare prices with the map view. GameTime is obsessed with helping you find ways to save money on your next ticket. And they have last-minute deals right up to the event start, as well as an hour in to the event start. But not only do they have last-minute deals, they also have sponsored deals and flash deals, which are a ton of fun because you get to slide it and then all of a sudden new deals just pop up. It's super exciting. But zone deals, I believe, are one of the best parts of the GameTime app. You pick the section, GameTime picks the seats for an average of up to an 18% savings on tickets. GameTime guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code DOSE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DOSE, D-O-S-E, for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now, I'm going to put the link to this video in the description below, so I think you guys should go check it out. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I have no idea on this stuff, but there was a pretty good video, I think, that was done months ago when Ceedy Duce had this injury, and this is a physical therapy doctor, and he had an explanation video of what happened, how long he was anticipating that this would take to return from, but of course it's different with NFL players. Now, if you went back to the day that he was injured, which was against the Seattle Seahawks week 2, September 17th, and you moved it all the way to December 20th, that would be 94 days. And in this video, Nick, who has this video, he talked about it taking about 4 months to potentially return from having a grade 3 full surgery from a torn pec, which is what we know that Ceedy Duce had dealt with, and it has been listed as a grade 3 injury, which would mean full surgery. He talked about it taking about 4 months, and then of course up to about 9 months with the cautionary of being able to return and be active, being able to lift weights with that muscle. And he kind of showed the play, and he talked about how the motion of tackling, how we kind of like threw him down with that one arm, and it would be like doing a very heavy flyweight with that one arm on the tackle that he made, and you could see right after the play how he was kind of like feeling around with it. So from what we know, it sounds like it was a grade 3 torn pec, and obviously that would be the worst one. He did have surgery, but according to Dan Campbell, the surgery was relatively clean, the injury was clean, which was a good thing. And even going back to when this kind of happened and we knew about the surgery taking place, he still didn't want to count out the potential of this guy returning because this guy wants to get back. And even a week ago, there was a video that was posted, and he's like, be patient, it's coming soon. And that was him kind of walking around with the mask. We had Michael Banks, the Detroit Lions Hall of Fame fan. He actually sent me some images when he was at the Lions-Chargers game of Ceedy Duce down there with his mask on, still supporting the team, but being involved. So obviously I have no doubt that this guy has the drive to want to be back. There's been these little things sprinkled out there of a potential return. I don't know whether or not he is actually going to return, but I'll say this, I would not count it out. And we could absolutely use it. I mean, just his energy alone, we could absolutely use that. Of course, we're kind of young at safety, but we have nice players that have stepped in. Tracy Walker, Kirby Joseph, if he stepped in at times this season. Brian Branch has played a safety role, but I would love to see this guy get back, not only for what he can do for us and what he means emotionally, but also for himself, understanding that he only signed a 1-year deal. It seemed like he wasn't able to maybe get that long-term deal that he was looking for, and whether that's with us or somewhere else, I hope that he's able to get back on the field at some point this season to, you know, put more out there on film to kind of show teams. Maybe he ends up back with us. I thought coming into the year he was going to have a really big season, rack up a ton of interceptions, and that maybe there would be a potential that we would actually end up extending him after the season. That was one of my bold predictions that we did on Bleacher Report, is that he would actually end up with this extension, as unlikely as maybe that felt because of what we have on the roster. That was one of my bold predictions, and it was so unfortunate to see him go down so early in the season, but I would love to have him back. I will say this, I would not count out a potential return just from all the kind of information that we've been able to gather. We don't know anything for sure, like this is absolutely the day that he's going to return, but if he had posted it out there, I don't even know that he is talking about a potential return, but it all seems to make you believe that that's what he's talking about because no one's ever really closed the case on this actually happening. So could he return? I think absolutely. Would we like to have him return? Absolutely. So I'm rooting for you, Ceedy Duce. Hopefully that is the case. Hopefully he's able to get back at some point this season, and it would be awesome to have him for kind of that playoff push, but also a potential playoff run if we can make the playoffs this season. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.